The northbound is located at the junction of the Hongkou River and Suzhou Creek to form a golden triangle for Shanghai's development with Lujiazui and the Band.
What is this place?
With the history of shipping for more than 170 years, the North Bund is also the birthplace of Shanghai's modern shipping industry. More than 4,700 various shipping enterprises have settled in the North Bund, featuring a cluster of headquarters and high-end services.
Financial industry featuring wealth management has become the new signature industry of the North Bund. There are more than 1,500 financial companies with asset management scale exceeding 5 trillion yuan.
The future Shanghai is bound to be the world's meeting room. Every inch of land at the 4 square kilometer North Bund has great value and huge potential.
Welcome to the North Bund. Here is our overall solution to the development of the group headquarters and the needs of our staff. I hope we will have further cooperation.
Air 20 et l'hiver c'est quand il fait.
Truly North Bund, like never before.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all domestic guests and good morning to guests overseas. Welcome to today's online webinar, Risk Management of Cross-Border Investment in China. This is the Central District of Shanghai, Hongkou District. I'm May from Sapience Pro. I will be the moderator of today's event. This is the second webinar of our Drive Global Investment, Share Hongkong's Future series events. We are aiming at helping global investors gain a comprehensive understanding of investment environment in Hongkou District. Today, we will have 4 experienced speakers talk about investment risk management. Hope all audience enjoy this formative webinar. We will also have Q&A session in the end. Please feel free to leave message on the chatting board. Now, please allow me to introduce the first speaker, Lin Zhang from Shanghai Foreign Invest Development Board. She will introduce finance industry in Shanghai.
Good afternoon, this is Lin Zhang from Invest Shanghai. It's my great pleasure to give you a brief presentation of Shanghai financial industry and the features of Hongkou District. First of all, let's take a look at the overview of Shanghai financial industry. Shanghai is definitely one of the cities with the largest number of financial institutions and the most equipped financial factor markets globally, and a strategically important destination for global financial institutions headquarters. Last year, Shanghai's financial industry generated an increased added value of more than 600 billion RMB, and rose to fourth spot among global financial centers index. Shanghai financial industry demonstrates concrete industry foundation and vigorous growth potential. Firstly, it's a highly concentrated industry. More than 30% of the 1,659 licensed financial institutions in Shanghai are foreign funded. Secondly, the increasing openness to the global financial market. Shanghai has launched a wide range of innovative financial products, such as the Hulun the Shanghai London Stock Connect. And thirdly, the continuous growth of the financial market, generating a total transaction volume of almost 2,000 trillion RMB last year, and a trading volume of several products ranked top among global financial markets. And fintech innovation is also an important factor of Shanghai financial market. And as we all know, the launch of SciTech Innovation Board is a significant milestone to accelerate the capital market reform. Now we will present you the features of financial industry in Hongkou district. Thanks to the remarkable geographic advantages of the northbound, Hongkou district has witnessed the financial industry developing continuously with a great clustering effect, playing a significant role in Shanghai's endeavor of developing itself into an international financial center. As a big picture, here we can see some numbers here. Hongkou is home to 1,560 financial enterprises with assets under management of more than 5 trillion RMB and hosts 10% of China's mutual funds. As for the future planning, Hongkou will attract more headquarter-type financial enterprises with further enhancements of its global asset management industry and to attract more professional firms to provide supporting services. Here we summarize the three most important features of financial industry in Hongkou district. Firstly, Hongkou presents varied financial institutions categories. So far, it hosts almost all types of segments of financial service industries. There are 131 financial companies has already registered in this area. Secondly, as we can see the picture here, Hongkou has a cluster of hedge fund companies, the Shanghai Hedge Fund Park. It is the first ever specialized and functional clustering base for the industry in China. And up to now, it hosts more than 300 hedge fund companies with a total number of 300 billion RMB assets under management, leading the country in both the number and the scale. Also, Hongkou district demonstrates remarkable assets management capacities. It has attracted a number of top-tier global assets management companies to located in this area, such as Invest Group, Greenlight Capital, China Renaissance, just to name a few. To further improve the business environment of Hongkou district, the Hongkou government is dedicated to encourage financial industry with several measures and targeted policies. As we can see here, these measures include providing financial support for newly recognized financial service companies and functional financial entities, as well as incentives for influential financial industry conferences and conventions. We also have rewards and incentives to senior management team of newly introduced foreign financial service companies, especially headquarter companies, to encourage more financial professionals to work and live in this area. In addition, Hongkou district also stresses the role of finance in serving real economy, such as the support for corporate restructuring and listing, microcredit company pilot program, innovative financing patterns. All of these above mentioned measures could be obtained from Hongkou district government per request. Thanks for your listening to this brief presentation, and here is the contact details of me, or you can scan this QR code of Invest Shanghai for further information.
Thanks for Lin's introduction. Next, Ms. Chen Lei from Bank of Shanghai will present Keep Cross-Border Funds Flow Safe.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Chen Lei from Bank of Shanghai. It's my great honor to share with you our experience in cross-border business here. Well, it's my first time in the live broadcast, and I'm a little bit excited and also a little bit nervous, and hope that we can have a great communication today. Well, follow my presentation. I'm glad to share with you the following. And first of all, let me give you a very brief introduction of who am I and what is Bank of Shanghai. Well, here at the presentation, you can see that Bank of Shanghai is a city commercial bank, and maybe you know what's the structure of Chinese city commercial banks. Well, you may hear Bank of China, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, etc. But Bank of Shanghai is the city commercial banks in China. There are over 100 city commercial banks in China, and Bank of Shanghai would be the second largest city commercial bank in China, and as well as the only city commercial bank in Shanghai. In 2016, Bank of Shanghai is listed in Shanghai Stock Exchange. And also we have, I think we have achieved a good market value today. And also you can see that on the clients, the client base, Bank of Shanghai is also very good. We have over 15 million individual clients. Well, what's the number means? Actually, you know, in Shanghai, the population of Shanghai is about over 20 million citizens, and over half of the citizens open accounts in Bank of Shanghai. So we are very proud of it. And for the corporate clients, we have over 225,000 corporate clients, which is very, very large client base. And also it is a kind of evidence to prove that Bank of Shanghai is very capable to serve for those clients, corporate clients, either it is big or it is small or micro businesses. And also Bank of Shanghai has a very good international ranking. For the long term, we are actually rated by Moody, and it is Baa2, which is about is over the investment rating. And for the branches and our footprints, I'm very glad to tell you that Bank of Shanghai not only operating in Shanghai, but also operating in other cities like the Yangtze Delta River, like in the capital city like Beijing, and also Tianjin, and also the western areas of China. More than that, Bank of Shanghai has also one of the fully owned subsidiary in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, we have commercial subsidiary as well as investment bank subsidiary. So in this sense, we can provide a very good one-stop kind of service for corporate clients. Now let's come to the next page. Bank of Shanghai is a city commercial bank, but we are very unique in the cross-border financial service platform. From this picture, you can see that we have various cross-border platforms to provide different cross-border financial services to our clients. On the top of the left side, you can see that it's a very three colors logo. There are three Shanghai banks. Actually, they are three individual separated banks in Taiwan and Hong Kong. But we have a very strong kind of shareholders connecting. And we cooperate for over 20 years. This platform is very unique, and a lot of investors think that it's the pearl of the market. So we cherish it very much. And from this platform, we can provide services like syndication loan, like standby LC, like the co-marketing services, and also the three areas in Shanghai, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. We have a very, very frequent communication with each other. And also on the left column, you can also see there is a bank. I think friends from the European countries are very familiar with. That is Banco Santander. Banco Santander now is the second largest shareholders of Bank of Shanghai. And we have started our strategic cooperation since 2014. We are working together now, and also we have very special team in both banks, and they have a team here in Bank of Shanghai, and we cooperate each other to provide services in syndication loan, in factoring, also in M&A businesses. I think this is very unique in the bank, and also it can help us to cover the region that Bank of Shanghai has not reached yet. And also on the left column, you can see that this is the two subsidiaries of Bank of Shanghai. And I have just mentioned it before. In Hong Kong, we can provide it not only commercial banks services, but also the investment bank services for you guys. And also we can have a very synergy kind of cooperation with each other. For example, if you want to go to China and want to invest, or you want to go out to the overseas market, we can provide services by joint efforts with all these platforms. Well, now let's come to the next page. I think this is the very highlights of Bank of Shanghai to prove what the capability of Bank of Shanghai to provide cross-border business in the market. For the international settlement in 2019, it is over 180 billion US dollar. Well, it's very huge and is among the top 10 banks in Shanghai. And also, maybe you may know, but I will introduce in my later presentation that there will be over 50 various cross-border cash pooling has been established by Bank of Shanghai, and we win and already won the confidence and also the kind of recognition from our clients. And also, you know, in Shanghai, there's a very kind of special and with preferred policies area that is called free trade zone. And we also opened to the public in free trade zone in 2013. We are the first group to join this free trade zone account unit. So it is very, very, I think it is a kind of not easy thing, but Bank of Shanghai realized it very much. And also we have different partners and friends all over the world. We have over 10,000 domestic and foreign banks and their affiliates agencies. We have keep very good relationship. I don't know, I cannot see you, but I know that wherever you are, and I think we can find a very good partner in where you are. So I think we have the confidence to have very good cooperation with all the banks, all the corporates over the world. This picture just show what we have served for the, this is the big names or the names of the corporates we have served for. Some of them are very internationalized name, but some of them are the Chinese corporates, but they have very global presence, like Foxing, like ZMPC, which is a machinery company, and it has a lot of harbor in the world. And also we have now this years we are dedicated to serve for the areas like schools, like hospitals. For example, there's a client named Harrow. It is an international school, and they just opened an account with Bank of Shanghai, and we provide a very good fund service for them. Well, next part is about the foreign investment in China. I think you may have a lot of questions about the investment in China, but actually, what I can say is that in China, the steps, or how to say, the measures has been easing a lot recent years, and the facilities has been further convenienced by the government. So I can show you some statistics. For the FDI in Shanghai, you can see that the actual utilization of FDI, that is foreign direct investment, the number has kept very stable since 2015. And the utilization of FDI in Shanghai has kept about from 13 to 15 range of the national portion. And this is a very good number because the number base has been increased. And also you can see that Shanghai is also very, very hot and attractive for the worldwide investors. And Shanghai, the ranking of the centers has been upgraded to number 4. And we're just behind Tokyo and London, New York. So this is, I think, this is a very good evidence to prove that Shanghai is very attractive and it enjoys very good international financial center nowadays. When talking about the business environment, I think most of you are very curious about it. There are two regulators, major regulators in China, who is in charge of the policy and also the measures and policy makers of China. And one is National Development and Reform Commission, and the other is the SAFE, the State Administration of Foreign Exchange. And these two bureaus, they just in charge of most of the policies of foreign investment. But just like what I said just now, we have easy entry procedures. I don't want to read all the materials, but I think you can get some points from my presentation. For example, it is integrated online government service platform. I think it is very convenient for foreigners. You can just check the information on the online on the website, and you can get very useful information from the website, and you can download the policy of what you can do. And also they provide a one-stop service for the company registration, and they can give you a lot of electronic certificate. So I think it is very convenient for the foreign investors. And also, the government is dedicated to accelerate the process of opening up in key areas. Just as I said, education for the international schools, as well as the manufacturing, like medicine, like agricultural. I think if you are from this kind of industries, it is very attractive for you. Beyond that, you can see that we have improved management measures. For example, we established a national treatment plus an active list management system for foreign investments. That means if you are not in the negative list, then you can have a very convenient channel to enjoy all the policies. Well, next page is the I think it is the 6 steps the government take or have taken for the trade facilitation. And this page is just showed the trade facilitation. Next page is showed about the investment and the financing facilitation. I don't want to read through, but you can see that it is very convenient in the account opening, in the reporting, and also in the, for example, the foreign exchange area. Let's talk about how you can keep your funds safe here in China. What I can assure you that is, if you want to invest in China, or if you want to stop investing and you want to get your money back, your funds back, we have different ways to do that. For example, we have a bank account, not only in trade, but also in the capital service. You can do, the bank account can assure you a very safe funds, and you can also check your accounts online. So we provide different basic account in RMB, and also we can give you a very comprehensive service in cash management platform. And more than that, if you want to do some FX business, like you want to convert RMB to US dollar or euro, you can just convert them back. It is also very convenient. Now we have different ways to do that. Moreover, if you want to have any kind of policy explanation or interpretation, we can provide our service for you. And also, you know, when you are caring about the funds flow, I think you are very curious about inflow and outflow. For inflow, you can do it from settlement or financing. For settlement, you can do that through FDI, foreign debt, or QFLP. For financing, you can do a lot of kind of financing business. For example, you can enjoy the loan backed by the overseas standby LC. Vice versa. For outflow, it's also the same. And also, Bank of Shanghai can provide different kind of products to ensure that the flows can, the funds can flow very safe and convenient. For example, there is a cash pooling business here. We have different versions of cash pooling. But I think in China, in Hongkou, here we can provide you a very national version that is all the foreign companies you can use this kind of products. And I can give you an example. If you're company A, if you're overseas company, but you can have you can establish a subsidiary in China, and then that is a foreign company, but you registered in China. That is company A, and it is the main company in China for cash pooling. But then you can have your subsidiaries like company B or C, and they can open general account with company A. And also maybe the parent bank is company C. This company A, B, C, they can enjoy a very convenient and safe cash flow through the cash pooling services. So I think, and also this kind of services has been used by many international companies, and it is welcome in the market now. So I think you may enjoy it. And I think the time is running out. So and thank you very much for joining and listening to me. This is the contact with my team, and we have a special team in Bank of Shanghai. And just contact us if you have any further questions, and we are very happy to give any presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chen Lei. Now let's welcome managing partner of Jingmao Law Firm, Dominic Liu, to give the speech of legal risk control of investment in China.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Liu from Shanghai Jingmao Law Firm. It's my honor to be here to present the legal risks control of the investment in China. Here is a short introduction about my background. My practice areas include foreign investment, M&A, litigation, and arbitration. Today's topic will be discussed from 4 aspects. We will firstly get a rough glance at the recent situation of the foreign investment, and then we proceed to the legal risks and the control, and then is a conclusion. Now let us have a look at the recent situation of foreign investment in China. Since China's reform and opening up in 1978, China has become a hotspot for foreign investment. More and more foreign investors are engaging in different kinds of economic activities in China. Let's have a look at a chart. According to a statistic report of FDI in China in 2019, issued by the Ministry of Commerce, as of 2018, a total of 960,725 foreign investor companies were established in China. In 2018, China regained its position as the second largest recipient of FDI in the world, with US $138.3 billion FDI, and accounted for 10.7% of the global FDI inflows. As China's economic and trade financial center, Shanghai is inevitably the first choice for foreign investment. In April this year, despite the severe situation of the global COVID-19 epidemic, there were still 21 regional headquarters and 10 R&D centers of multinational companies established in Shanghai. Apparently, despite the complex international situation, the foreign investment in China is booming. However, the legal risks of investment in China should not be ignored. This part will be discussed based on the timeline from the following aspects: the preparatory stage and the operating stage. And each of the stages may exist special risks. When foreign investors want to invest in China, it should care about legal risks in preparatory stage. The first one is the risks of access, which include industry restrictions and pre-approval. Industry restrictions, just as its name implies, not all industry and fields are open to foreign investors. For example, wholesale and retail business of tobacco products are forbidden to foreign investment. Although some industries do not restrict the entry of foreign investors, there will be special requirements for share ratio, such as cinemas, talent agencies, domestic water transportation, publication printing, and other industries, which need to be the Chinese side holding. As for the pre-approval, before engaging in some special industries, foreign investor companies should obtain prior approval from the government according to the Chinese laws in order to handle industry and commercial registration and carry out relevant business activities. For example, security service need to obtain the corresponding license first. Once the relevant business activities are carried out without a license, they may have to face a punishment. The second aspect is the risks in the form of investment, includes WOFE and the JV. The full name of the WOFE is a wholly foreign-owned enterprise, generally refers to an enterprise established in China with capital fully invested by foreign investors. The advantages of WOFE are the absolute control and the decision-making power over the invested enterprise to ensure the strong executive power of the invested company. The shortcoming of WOFE are foreign investors may not have a deep understanding of China's economy, culture, and the market conditions, which may cause increasing risks during the management. As for the joint venture, also usually we call it a JV, generally referred to an enterprise jointly established by foreign investors and the Chinese companies, enterprise, or other commercial organizations. The advantage of JV are the full use of the resource of both parties and the mutually reinforcing, which are helpful to the rapid expansion of business in China. The shortcoming of JV is the weak control over the company by the foreign investors and the potential and the possible disputes between the two parties over the distribution of interests. Now we are going to discuss the risks of JV. Before the establishment of the company, foreign investors need to choose a Chinese partner that may face risks of partner selection. When choosing JV partners, foreign investors may not fully understand the status of JV partners in the investing field, which causing the JV less competitive, or fail to know the financial condition of the JV partner, thus facing the situation that JV partner cannot make a capital contribution on time, or cannot make additional investment in later period, or they do not conduct an investigation over partners' lawsuits, which having a negative impact on the operation of the JV. Of a smart choice of partner, there will still exist risks of corporate governance. According to the latest foreign investment law, the corporate governance structure and the standard of conduct of a joint venture should be subject to the company law. As the authority of the company, the shareholder meeting decides the major issues such as profit distribution and the investment plan. If the Chinese investor and the foreign investor in JV each hold 50% of the voting rights at the shareholder meeting, the deadlock may occur if there is no special agreement in the Articles of Association. The members of the board are elected by the shareholder meeting, and generally the number of directors is odd. However, in order to balance the board, some companies adopt an even number of directors, which may result in the failure of the resolution when it is required the consent of more than half of the directors. The directors recommended by one party and elected by the shareholder meeting usually represent the interests of the recommending party. Once the proposal of board is unfavorable to one party, the directors recommended by that party may be absent from the board meeting, and the board meeting may not be held and voted on this situation. The following part will focus on the legal risks in operation stage. During the contract performance for foreign invested company, the counterparty of the contract may delay the performance of the contract for various reasons, or the performance may be defective, or the contract is unable to perform, thus causing losses to the company, or the contract signed by both parties are not clear, and the description of rights and obligations are vague, which may lead to a different understanding of the contract between the parties and result in disputes. Moreover, there are risks of compliance during the company's operation. The first one is the risks of monopoly. A foreign invested company may enter into a monopoly agreement with a competitive operator for commercial interests. Once it is identified as a monopolistic act by the government may impose a fine on the company according to the anti-monopoly law and have a power to confiscate the illegal gains. Also, there are risks of unfair competition. In order to expand the market, foreign invested company may conduct marketing. However, sometimes the marketing behavior may damage the rights and interests of other operators or consumers, such as confusing acts that enable people to mistake its products for another operator's products, or believe certain relation with others, which may be considered as unfair competition behaviors and may cause results. Regarding the illegal acts, such as fines, confiscation of the illegal gains, civil compensation. Here is a case about the unfair competition. An e-commerce technology company during the operation, it notable used the logo of the TikTok e-commerce and the TikTok graphics on the decoration in its business site and its publicity posters, which was mistaken by public as having specific connection with the owner of the short video app of TikTok. In the end, because this Commerce Technology Companies Act is identified as confusing behavior, which is enough to cause people to be mistaken for other people's goods or have a specific connection with others, the government ordered it to stop the illegal activities immediately and impose a fine of RMB 320,000 yuan. Besides, there are still risks of intellectual property infringement. If a foreign invested company uses the intellectual property right without the permission of the right owner, the foreign invested company shall bear civil liability. According to the copyright law, if neither the actual loss of the right holder nor the illegal gains obtained by the infringer can be determined, the People's Court shall decide to award damages of up to RMB 500,000 yuan, according to the situations of the case. If the infringement damages the public interests, the Copyright Department may take punishment, such as warnings, sanctions, confiscation of the illegal gains, and the confiscation of the infringed products. With the improvement of the China legal system, the punishment for illegal acts in the law are constantly increasing. In addition, for foreign invested companies, there are also potential risks in labor, taxation, land, and other aspects. We talked about the legal risks in the past few minutes, and now they come to the control of the legal risks about investment in China. This part contains five aspects based on the timeline of the foreign invested company from foundation to daily operation. Back to the foundation of the company, the important matter are negative list and share ratio limit. The government issues negative list every year. Foreign investors should learn the annual negative list before investing in specific industry in China to avoid investing losses. For industries that are excluded by the negative list, it is also important to look through the relevant industry laws and regulations in advance to find out whether there is any restrictions on the share ratio of the company. After making it clear the entry restriction, it is necessary to conduct due diligence. When selecting joint venture partners, foreign investors should entrust professional institutions like law firms and accounting firms to conduct due diligence in advance, to have a detailed knowledge of the background, financial condition, lawsuits involvement, and other aspects of joint venture partners, so as to ensure the best joint venture partners can be selected. After foundation of the company, it is necessary to improve the corporate governance. Foreign invested companies should establish a perfect corporate governance structure and clarify the discussing rules and voting procedures regarding the general matters of the shareholder meeting. For the resolution about modifying the articles of association, change the register capitals, or the special matters concerning the merger, division, or dissolution on the basis of not violating the company law, it is necessary to consider increasing the proportion of the voting rights based on the actual situation. To avoid the deadlock in the board meeting, the number of directors should be odd. Both parties to the JV can recommend the candidates, and the directors should be elected by the shareholder meeting. Foreign invested companies shall make clear the selection rules of the chairman and the vice chairman. Besides corporate governance, establish a compliance system is important to company. What's more, the company should establish corporate compliance values. Foreign invested companies should start from the top down and the management level to establish, recognize, and attach importance to the value of compliance and build the compliance into enterprise culture. Further, the company should put the compliance value into the practice. Companies should make relevant compliance standards, manuals, regulations, guidelines, and other regulatory documents. Meanwhile, these guidelines and regulations should be published in the enterprise in written form. That's all employees know very well. Meanwhile, companies need to set up corporate legal and compliance departments. Foreign investment companies should set up special legal and compliance departments with professionals. The policies, plans, and the measures shall be examined and approved by the professional legal and compliance specialists in advance. When facing disputes, companies should make use of the dispute resolution system. For the dispute with official organ, complaint method can be used. If a foreign investor company or its investors believe the acts of official organ or personnel infringes its legal rights and interests, it may apply for a solution through the complaint system or the foreign invested enterprise. For the disputes with civil subject, company can find a solution through litigation or arbitration. Foreign investors can agree to settle the relevant disputes by arbitration in the contract. There are several arbitration commissions in Shanghai, such as Shanghai Arbitration Commission, Shanghai International Economic and Trade Arbitration Commission, the China International Economic and Trade Commission, Shanghai Sub-Commission. The arbitrators may be selected by the parties individually or jointly. If the arbitration is not agreed upon, foreign investors may also be set disputes through litigation. Now, the judicial environment in China has also improved. Remarkable. Now it comes to the conclusion. Despite the objective existence of legal risks of foreign investment in China, in general, these risks can be controlled and avoided with the execution of the foreign investment law and its relevant regulations. From January 2020, China is becoming more open and inclusive to foreign investment and lay more emphasis on the protection of them. The investment environment for foreign investors in China is becoming more friendly. In the future, there will be great opportunities for foreign investors in China. That's all my today's topic, and I really appreciate your attention. Thank you.
Our last speaker is Edward Hu, Deputy General Manager of CIBT, Foreigner Service Group. He will present compliance management for foreign talents employment.
Well, good afternoon and good morning. This is Edward Hu from Newland Chase FSG, China. Thank you for attending our webinar. So today I will cover the roadmap of China immigration landscape, the compliance issues regarding foreigners' legal work in China, and also share the current status regarding China visa. So first, let's give you a brief introduction of our company. The Foreign Service Company, FSG, the Shanghai Foreign Service Group company. So it is the largest HR human resources companies in China with a nationwide network of 163 branches. It is providing the HR-related services to 3 million employees from over 50,000 enterprises throughout China. So we have our 4 major business service, that is the personal management, compensation and benefits, recruiting and flexible staffing, and business outsourcing. So CIBT company, CIBT was founded in 1989. It is the world leading visa and services provider for visa and immigration in the world. It obtained 1.3 million visa and work permits in 2019. And we have established the business operations covering 25 countries and 19 time zones. And we have over 70 wholly owned offices established throughout the whole world. And in April 2019, CIBT and Shanghai FSG formed a joint venture in Shanghai, offering high-touch visa and immigration services in China. So we have 2 brands. One is CIBT Visas, dedicated to the short-term business visa, as well as consular visas in different jurisdictions throughout the world. The other is Newland Chase FSG. It's dedicated to the long-term work permits, work authorization, the green cards, and also document services. Well, let's move on our first topic about the NIA, the National Immigration Administration. So the NIA in China was established in April 2018. The Chinese government realized the importance of immigration with the rise of its economy, large mobility of the foreign population, and the elevation of China's position in the world. The NIA was formed to exercise the following functions: the formulation and implementation of the China immigration policy, the overall management on entry and exit, residence, as well as the border control, and also, very important, crackdown on foreigners' illegal entry, employment, and residence in China. So, what is the current situation of expat population in China? Let's have a look at these comparison charts among different countries. As we all know, that China is the 2nd largest economy in the world. However, the foreign resident population only accounts for less than 0.1% of the total population in China, while Singapore and Hong Kong, China, almost stand top in these charts. And you can see in these slides, in most developed countries in the world, the percentage of migrant population in the total population usually exceeds 10%. So this slide gives you a better understanding of the difference in terms of the expat population among Singapore, Hong Kong, China, and mainland China. The foreign population in China was around 1 million in 2018. The figures in Singapore was 1.63 million versus total population in Singapore was over 5 million, and 500,000 in Hong Kong versus the total population was over 7 million. Therefore, it is imperative for China to release more favorable immigration policy to attract overseas talents to stay more competitive in the world. Then you can understand why China forms the NIA. The Chinese government decided to open the doors wider to the outside world. However, they intended to attract high-level foreign talents and foreign nationals who have highly sought-after expertise for the benefits of China's economy and the development in the science and the technology. To do that, Chinese government has released and will continue to release favorable immigration policy to encourage the inflow of high-level foreign talents. Well, from August 1st, 2019, 12 favorable immigration policies have been released and implemented nationwide to attract highly sought-after foreign talents, outstanding young professionals and academicians, as well as overseas Chinese with good education backgrounds to work, stay, and set up business in China. The new policy allows a wider range of foreigners across the world to apply for the PR, the permanent residence in China, that is green cards, the long-term visa, and residence permits in China. In this slide, you can see that the foreigners falling into new categories are able to apply for the China green card. So those new types of foreigners are high-level foreign talents and recommended by various authorities in different provinces and cities. The foreigners is taking up employment and meets specific income and tax requirements in different jurisdictions, and overseas Chinese with doctorate degree and meets other certain requirements. Now let's move on to the next slide. Speaking of China PR, the permanent residence of China, the green cards, let's share with you some background information. The first legislation on China PR came into effect in 2004. However, it was not popular with foreigners for the first 10 years. Only roughly 7,000 foreigners obtained the China PR during the period. By comparison, the US government at the same time granted its PR to over 50,000 foreign citizens each year. That is 50,000. Again, the foreign population in China was around 1 million in 2018. We just shared the corresponding figures in Singapore and Hong Kong, China. That's why the government is improving its current immigration and China PR laws to expand the pathways for China green cards applications and relentlessly encourage more and more foreigners to settle down in China on a longer-term basis. So on this slide, we list the major pathways for you to acquire China permanent residence. So you can see for those foreigners who had made significant contributions to the China's economy, or those who acquired PR through the various overseas talents introduction programs adopted in different cities and provinces, and also employment-based, foreigners acquire PR by making large investment in China or through family reunion. So based on our experience, the most popular pathway is employment-based PR application. So it is individual income tax related, and a different city sets different criteria on annual income and individual income tax payments. It changes with the average local social salary each year. Normally, it is 6 times of the average local social salary. For example, in Shanghai, the current criteria is annual before tax income, renminbi 600,000, and the IIT, individual income tax, is 120,000. And also the applicant must meet other requirements such as residence in China physically for 4 years with no less than 6 months per year, and also must be sponsored by a Chinese company, a Chinese employer, because this is employment-based PR. So overseas Chinese with good education get the chance to apply for China PR. So Chinese government recognize that these overseas Chinese are precious human resources for China. Now you can have a quick look at the requirements listed on this slide. Again, the policy and the criteria vary with different cities. For example, in Shanghai, overseas Chinese working in Free Trade Zone and Zhangjiang Innovation and Demonstration Zone are eligible for PR applications. So next, let's discuss the legal compliance on foreigners' employment and residence in China. To legally work in China, foreign nationals are required to hold both work permits and residence permits. So we invite your attention to the following points. First, China is vast, and different labor authorities may have different implementation or interpretation for the same immigration policy. So you should always make sure you always get the latest information and instruction from the local competent authority in your jurisdiction. Second, foreigners who have made the commitments on the annual income and the individual income tax to get their work permits should honor it precisely. Failure to do so will result in the penalties and the blacklist from the local authority. Chinese government is building a credit system for each foreigner working and living in China. For example, each foreigner working in China will receive a lifetime code number while they register for their work permits with the local SAFIA. So SAFIA is the authority issue the work permits to the foreigners in China. So this code number will be with them throughout their lifetime as long as they work in China. That means any discredited acts will be recorded and have an active effect on foreigners' future work permit application in China. And third, you should have a clear knowledge when a foreign employees can start to work in China legally. So let's look at this. When foreign employee can work legally, start to work legally in China, so this is a frequently asked questions. To address this question, let's see the clause 43 from the law. The law of the PRC on the administration of accident entry. So the foreigners can legally work in China after they have both obtained work permits and work-related residence permits. And based on our experience, we list the following pitfalls in foreigners' employment in China. So first, start to work immediately upon landing in China with a Z visa. So Z visa is a work visa, which only allows the visa holder to stay in China for 30 days. And during this period, he should proceed with the applications for work permits and residence permits. But it doesn't mean that you are holding a Z visa, you can start your work in China immediately. And work for company A physically and actually, however, holds a work permit registered under company B. So that means there is an inconsistency between the actual employer and the one indicated on your work permits. It is illegal. Please bear in mind that you should always work with the company indicated on your work permits. A spouse, foreign spouse, holding a family-related residence permit as a dependent. However, she does not apply for a work permit and change her residence permits to work-related after she finds a job in China. So that is illegal as well. After she finds a new job, she must lodge a new application for work permits. Work in Shanghai physically on a full-time basis. however, holds a work permit registered on a company in Hangzhou. So work permit issuance is jurisdiction-based. So if you actually work in Shanghai, you must get the work permit issued by the Shanghai authorities instead of the other city. And it does not file for a deregistration process for work permits and residence permits after the employment termination with the Chinese company. So if you terminate your relationship, your employment relationship with your Chinese company, make sure that you must cancel your work permit process and the residence permit process. Otherwise, both your company and you will be penalized and held responsibilities. Okay, next, let's have a quick look at the current status of China entry and immigration under the current pandemic situations. As we all know that China has temporarily suspended all China visa and residence permits issued before March 28th. Since then, foreign nationals' entry to China has become difficult. Currently, there are primarily two ways to enter China for the general foreign populations. So those foreigners who seek entry into China on the grounds of humanitarian reasons, for example, foreigners who visit their critical year relatives in China, or those who return to China for essential business and work resumption during the pandemic period. So these foreigners needed to apply for and obtain the letter of invitation PU, LOI, 签证邀请函 before they get the China entry visa at the Chinese embassy or consulate abroad. So to get this PU letter, LOI, the foreign nationals should be identified as foreign essential workers and business travelers, and return to China for critical and urgent economic, trade, scientific, or technological activities. So this LOI should be approved and issued by the local competent authorities, the Foreign Affairs Office. Well, let's quickly have a quick look at other status. First, COVID-19 is largely under control throughout China. We still have reports of newly detected cases on a daily basis, but most cases are imported from overseas. In an attempt to revive the local economy and improve job markets, China is reopening the borders gradually and slowly. However, given the grim epidemic situations out of China, the top priority of Chinese government is to contain COVID-19 and protect the local people. Therefore, the visa and quarantine policy may change constantly in accordance with the epidemic developments. So we have mentioned in our previous slide that M visa letter of invitation, LOI, will be issued to high-value foreign nationals who are identified to be essential workers and business travelers and seek entry into China for important and critical projects, as well as business needs during the pandemic period. So this serves as a primary pathway for the foreigners to visit China since March 28th. And we believe it will be in existence for a long time before the epidemic situation throughout the world has fully recovered. After having obtained this LOI, the foreign national should apply for a single entry visa up to 180 days at the Chinese embassy abroad. The LOI generally is valid for 3 months. However, the Chinese consulates in most countries are currently closed or working at limited hours. Appointment for visa application is required, and it takes much longer time than usual to get entry visa. And also, flights back to China are also limited at the moment. And the next, the quarantine measures. So everybody is concerned about this, and yes, in general, all the travelers from abroad are subject to a 14-day quarantine order with very limited exceptions. In Shanghai, the new quarantine measures, 7-day quarantine at a designated place and a 17 quarantine at home, provided certain requirements are met. In Beijing, the quarantine rule is 14 days at a designated facility and 7 days at home. The at-home quarantine is subject to special approval from local quarantine authority. It is difficult to obtain, And only people falling into the special categories might be eligible, such as pregnant people, people with serious underlying health problems, disabled people. Medical certificates should be provided. And above all travelers traveling to China are required to take the COVID-19 tests upon landing in China. Okay, with that, we end today's summary of China visa and immigration updates. You can get access to our website, newlandchase.com, for the latest visa and immigration dynamics during the epidemic periods. So we encourage you to sign up for our educational webinars to be held on a regular basis. And should you have any specific question regarding China immigration and visa, you may contact me via the email address on this slide. So thank you for your attention.
Thanks for the advert, Hu. Now, thank you for all sharing from all speakers. We then have Q&A sessions. Due to the time reason, we will select 3 typical questions. We will reach out to another questions afterward. So the first question is, the policy of moving legal income out of China. Ms. Chen Lei from Bank of Shanghai will provide more information for it.
Hello. So according to our experience, some foreign-funded enterprises needs transfer the profit to the headquarters due to global financial consideration. Our bank will help the client do the dividends repatriation. In terms of related policies, we will review broad resolution of dividend distribution, original tax certification, audited financial statements, and the FDI certificate. Our bank is responsible to check the above-mentioned documents and then help enterprises to repatriate the dividends to their parent companies. So don't worry, if your legal income and profit can be transferred to outside China, of course.
So the second question is there any restriction on shareholding ratio for foreign investors in security companies or fund management company in China?
Okay. According to the negative list 2019, the shareholding ratio of foreign investors in a securities company, a security investment fund management company, a futures company, and a life insurance company is not allowed to exceed 51%. However, in October 2019 and March 2020, the China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission had announced on its website that from April 2020, the above-mentioned limitations on the shareholding ratio of foreign investors should be cancelled. This had been reflected in the negative list 2020, which was issued by the NDRC and the MOC on June 2020. All current restrictions on the shareholding ratio of foreign investors in the above-mentioned companies had been completely removed from the negative list 2020. This means that according to negative list 2020 now, all restrictions on the shareholding ratio of foreign investors on the finance sector had been removed. Negative list 2020 had consolidated the important measures of the comprehensive opening up foreign investment in a wider range, wide fields, and deeply level, and will further improve the foreign investment environment and promote the high-quality development of China's economy with a high level of openness. Thank you.
Thank you. The third question is, if a company plans to set up a RIC office in China, how to do the work visa? Edward Hu from CIPT Foreigner Service Group will answer it.
Yes, thank you. So this is Edward. So yes, if you set up a rep office in Shanghai, you are definitely can hire foreigners. So the foreigner still needed to apply for work permits and residence permits. But the procedure is slightly different from normal procedure is. The foreigner needed to apply for the representative certificates. We call Chinese as 代表证, because the rep office is not a legal entity. So they must file some registrations with the Commerce of Trades in Shanghai or in the local competent authorities to apply for these representative certificates. And it usually takes approximately 2 weeks, additional 2 weeks to get these representative certificates. So after that, you can lodge your applications with your work permits and residence permits. Because different consulates in different jurisdictions, they have different practice, but sometimes you can get your work visa, Z visa, at the Chinese embassy with these rep certificates. So that's the answer.
Yeah. Thank you for Edward. Thank you for all listening to today's webinar. Hope you enjoy it. Our next webinar would be about policy on multinational regional headquarters and R&D center set up in late August. Please stay tuned. If you have another topic's interest, please also leave a message to us. Thank you all again, and see you in August.
Tell me what